What if I told you the story of our ancient world is missing its most vital chapters? What if the accepted narrative, the one we've all been taught, is fundamentally incomplete? Imagine a library where the books on history have been edited, their truths erased, their narratives carefully curated to serve a specific agenda. This is not fiction, it's the reality of our collective memory. It's a subtle but pervasive distortion that has shaped our understanding of the past for centuries. We've inherited a history that sidelines Africa, diminishing its contributions and overlooking its pivotal role in shaping civilization, reducing its role to a mere footnote, a brief mention in the grand scheme of human events. The familiar narrative centers on Greece and Rome, glorifying their achievements and influence, casting Europe as the sole protagonist, the primary driver of progress and innovation. But history is not a neat play. It's far more complex and multifaceted than we've been led to believe. It's a sprawling epic, and Africa was at its heart, a vibrant center of culture, knowledge, and power. Why were these stories buried? Why was Africa's significance deliberately obscured? The answers are tangled in colonialism, in the systematic exploitation and subjugation of an entire continent, and the construction of racial hierarchies, designed to justify oppression and maintain control. To keep people down, you erase their legacy, you deny them their heritage, you strip them of their identity. Yet the whispers of Africa's past persist, refusing to be silenced, echoing through the ages. In ruins, standing as silent witnesses to a forgotten glory. Languages, carrying the echoes of ancient wisdom and cultural richness. And art, expressing the soul of a continent and the ingenuity of its people. Archaeologists and historians are piecing together a breathtaking image, slowly but surely revealing the truth. African kings as pharaohs, ruling over powerful empires and leaving their mark on the world. Innovators in science, making groundbreaking discoveries and pushing the boundaries of knowledge. Explorers charting new worlds, venturing into the unknown and expanding the horizons of human understanding. This is not revisionist history, it's restorative, a necessary correction to a long-standing imbalance. We're finally placing the missing pages back into the book, completing the story and giving Africa its rightful place in history. The world we thought we knew is about to change, as we embrace a more complete and accurate understanding of our shared past. To uncover lost history, we must first unlearn the myths built atop it. The dominant story paints ancient Africa as a dark, empty continent until outsiders arrived. This myth justified exploitation and denied Africa's legacy. But here's a disruptive fact. The world's oldest university is in Morocco, founded by Fatima al-Fihri in 859 AD. Long before Europe's universities, African cities like Timbuktu and Fez were vibrant intellectual hubs. Humanity itself began in Africa. Every person alive today shares that ancestry. The innovations that shaped our species, tools, art, language, originated there. Unlearning these myths isn't about blame, it's about clarity. When we peel back the layers, we find a continent teeming with powerful empires and intellectual traditions. The so-called dark continent was never dark. The world simply chose not to see its light. It's time to open our eyes. When you picture ancient Egypt, do you see it as African? For centuries, Egypt was separated from Africa in Western narratives, its achievements claimed for others. But Egypt, Kemet, was fundamentally African, born from the Nile's rich soil and deeply connected to Nubia. Its art reveals a diverse, multi-ethnic society. Pharaohs saw themselves as rulers of Africa's greatest kingdom, not outsiders. Beyond pyramids, Egypt's intellectual legacy is staggering: advanced medicine, mathematics, and engineering. The Edwin Smith Papyrus details surgical knowledge predating Hippocrates by millennia. Their geometry enabled monuments aligned with the stars. This was African genius at work. Stating Egypt's Africanness is radical only because of centuries of whitewashing. The civilization that gave us monumental architecture, medicine, and written language was African. Egypt was not an anomaly. It was Africa's crowning jewel. Its legacy is proof of the continent's incredible potential. South of Egypt, along the life-giving waters of the Nile, a powerful kingdom thrived. This was Nubia, a civilization far more than a mere footnote in Egypt's grand story. Nubia was a powerful and sophisticated civilization in its own right, boasting impressive architecture, complex social structures, and a rich cultural heritage. Often Egypt's rival, sometimes its partner in trade and diplomacy, and even at times its conqueror, Nubia played a pivotal role in the ancient world. But perhaps the most stunning chapter in Nubia's long and illustrious history is the rise of the 25th dynasty, a period that saw Nubian kings ascend to the throne of Egypt itself. The These Nubian kings, often referred to as Black Pharaohs, marched north from their homeland to restore order and stability to a fractured Egypt. They came not as foreign invaders seeking to plunder and destroy, but as restorers of a shared cultural heritage. Their mission was to revive Egypt's ancient traditions, to rebuild its temples, and to restore its former glory. Under the leadership of powerful kings like Pi and Taharqa, Egypt experienced a true renaissance, unified once more, economically prosperous and artistically vibrant, reaching new heights of cultural expression. These pharaohs, ruling over both Nubia and Egypt, honored and celebrated both their Egyptian and Nubian heritage, creating a unique cultural synthesis. The powerful image of a Black African king proudly wearing Egypt's double crown, symbolizing his rule over both lands, is one of history's most powerful and compelling, yet often long-suppressed truths, challenging conventional narratives. The story of the Nubian dynasty shatters deeply ingrained racist narratives and biases, demonstrating that power, influence, and culture flowed in both directions along the Nile, connecting Africa and the Mediterranean world. These Black African rulers were not just equals on the world stage. They were, in many ways, the saviors of a civilization that was already thousands of years old, preserving its legacy for future generations. Their remarkable legacy endures to this day, etched in the imposing stone monuments that still stand proudly in Sudan. Nubia's compelling story serves as a powerful testament to Africa's central and often overlooked role in the broader narrative of world history. It's time to reclaim this vital piece of our shared human story and give Nubia its rightful place in the spotlight. For it was along the banks of the Nile that greatness flourished, and the Nile indeed ran black with the power and glory of Nubia. On Tunisia's coast, Carthage rose as a formidable African power. Founded by Phoenicians, it became a vibrant fusion of Semitic and Amazigh cultures. Carthage was a cosmopolitan hub, dominating the Western Mediterranean. Its story is often told through Roman eyes, but Carthage was a marvel of urban planning and trade. Its harbour, apartment buildings, and admired governance set it apart. Hannibal, Carthage's legendary general, led a multi-ethnic African army against Rome. His crossing of the Alps remains a military legend. Though Rome ultimately destroyed Carthage, the city rose again as a center of Christianity and philosophy. Carthage's spirit could not be extinguished. Its legacy reminds us Africa's history spans the entire continent, not just the Nile. The African phoenix always rises. Carthage's story is Africa's story, resilient, innovative, and enduring. Its memory lives on. Did Cleopatra invent the cat meme? Of course not. But the question, absurd as it may seem, makes us see history differently, prompting us to consider the nuances of ancient cultures. The Egyptians' love for cats is legendary. It was a deep-seated reverence that permeated their society. They revered them, holding them in the highest esteem. They even mummified them, a testament to their belief in the afterlife and the cat's role within it, and saw them as protectors, guardians against evil spirits and bringers of good fortune. In a way, they were the original viral content, spreading through art, religion, and daily life. Humour helps us connect with the past, offering a fresh perspective on civilizations long gone, breaking down barriers and making ancient people relatable, showing us that they weren't so different from us. Imagine a Carthaginian merchant haggling, perhaps exaggerating the quality of his goods with a sly wink, or a Nubian architect grumbling about his crew. Maybe they were a bit slow on a particularly hot day. Suddenly, history feels human, filled with everyday moments and relatable frustrations. History isn't just dates and battles. It's not solely defined by grand narratives of war and conquest. It's people living, laughing and making mistakes, experiencing the full spectrum of human emotions. Did Roman senators tell bad jokes? Perhaps even during serious debates? Almost certainly. It's hard to imagine they didn't, given human nature. Quirky questions reset our attention and challenge assumptions, forcing us to reconsider what we think we know. What did ancient food taste like? What flavors and spices did they use? What was their music? What rhythms and melodies filled their lives? These details bring the past to life, adding color and texture to our understanding. By embracing the lighter side, by acknowledging the humor and humanity, we see historical figures as real people, not just names and dates in a textbook. Cleopatra didn't scroll through cat pictures, that's for sure. But her culture's obsession with felines tells us about their values, their beliefs, and their worldview. History is human. It's about us, and sometimes, surprisingly, hilarious. The story of exploration is usually told as a European saga, but Africa's maritime legacy is profound. Evidence shows African mariners navigated vast oceans long before Columbus. Columbus himself recorded tales of black-skinned traders reaching the Americas before him. The metal in their spears matched West African alloys, proof of pre-Columbian contact. The Mali Empire's Mansa Abubakari II reportedly launched massive Atlantic expeditions, abdicating his throne to explore the unknown. Whether he reached the Americas is debated, but the ambition is undeniable. Africa's seafaring tradition included Swahili traders on the Indian Ocean and West Africans challenging the Atlantic. These were not isolated, fearful societies. They were outward-looking and innovative. The standard narrative erases this chapter. Africa's maritime history is rich, daring, and essential to our understanding of global exploration. To ignore it is to miss a crucial part of humanity's story. The oceans were never barriers, they were bridges. Africa's pioneers sailed them first. Why does this history matter? Because the stories we tell shape our identity and our future. For centuries, erasing Africa's achievements justified racism and colonialism. Reclaiming this history isn't rewriting the past, it's healing the present. Limiting civilization's story to Greece and Rome impoverishes us all. The genius of Nubian pharaohs, Carthaginian traders, and Timbuktu's scholars is our collective heritage. Denying their contributions denies a part of ourselves. Archaeological sites and oral histories are vanishing. If we don't act, these stories may be lost forever. Preserving and sharing them is everyone's responsibility. For African children, learning their ancestors were pharaohs and scholars is transformative. For all of us, it fosters respect and dismantles bias. A true shared history builds a better future. The time for silence is over. Let's tell the whole story. We've uncovered forgotten narratives, revealing Africa as a driving force in civilization. From Egypt and Nubia to Carthage and Mali, Africa's contributions are foundational. The evidence is clear and transformative. But this journey is just beginning. For every fact revealed, 100 questions remain. What lost scripts, philosophies, and breakthroughs still lie hidden? Africa's history is vast and complex. Its greatest chapters may still be unwritten. New technologies are unlocking secrets buried for millennia. Each discovery adds to the magnificent puzzle of Africa's past. The quest for our true collective story continues. The whispers of a lost world are becoming a roar. The biggest secrets are yet to be found.